Town of Minnedosa resides on Treaty Two land. We acknowledge with gratitude that Minnedosa is on the ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene people and the Métis Nation. And we'll get right into it. We got lots to get through there. So first resolution and the adoption of the agenda moved by Councillor Dowsett, second by Councillor Butler. They resolved that the August 12, 2025 agenda be hereby adopted. Questions or comments on the agenda? Not all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Adoption of the minutes. Moved by Councillor Landry, second by Councillor Dowsett. Be resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of July 8, 2025 be adopted. Questions or comments on the minutes? Councillor Marks.
Couldn't find video of the meeting linked on the town site, but I did find it on the YouTube channel, there was a channel.
Okay, any other questions or comments on the minutes? Not all in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right, that moves us straight into the delegations. First up is Minnedosa Hockey, Minnedosa Minor Hockey Board.
Good. Do you want us up there?
Yeah, well, it's your turn to speak. You can move up if you want, or
All right.
Yeah, a little nervous at home.
Well, he said I was shy, so I was trying to look down to it.
I'm only by sometimes.
Yeah. I'm Tanis Barrett. I'm a minor hockey volunteer.
Michael, I'm president of Minnedosa Minor Hockey.
do you know everybody, or do you want council to introduce themselves? We'll run around the table anyway, so go ahead.
Tom Dowsett.
Mark Way,
Stacy Moyer.
Ken Cameron.
Carrier.
Mark Landry.
Grant Butler.
Robert Marks.
Okay, floor is yours.
And I heard Danielle say the word presentation,
Yes.
literally not just flying by the seat of my pants, just, we thought we were here to answer questions.
Oh,
From council, so, sorry, no PowerPoint, no slides,
no.
no words. I think from our point of view, we're trying to figure out where we're at for, moving forward for this season, because the last time we met in February, I thought we were gonna know by the end of March when we had to set our fees, and we didn't, and we had to set our fees, so I guess, what questions does council have for us?
Okay. Any councilors have any questions for Minor?
I thought those fees were sent
Yeah.
and sent, if
Um,
I was not mistaken.
Well, yeah, from our side, we had them after the conversation, we debated, sent them, and then it was, the email was sent to Minor.
Okay, good, you got that?
Yeah, that's what I couldn't find.
Okay,
You feel like it, we done?
we'll dig that up, that's okay, that's on us.
It was sent, right? It was sent? Yeah, like, it was sent, so,
Okay. And then I'd seen an email that Danielle had copied in the general information minor hockey account, asking about who is representing minor and
right.
books for a grant and those sorts of things. Has that also been all clarified in the meantime? That was July the 9th, I think, that email was sent.
Well, I guess that would be the one question I have for you then. What is the chain communication? Because we get a ton of emails from Matt Saylor that seem to come from him and don't necessarily come from Minor. So I guess when we had a meeting a long time ago, the town liaison was Alan Bettridge at the time, and we never hear from him. So we're just not sure what the protocol or what you want.
Right. They've been letting Matt do the speaking just because he was working with Stacy on the ice scheduling. And just was my job as a teacher, just during the work hours, and it was Matt doing all the speaking for minor hockey at the time, but I understand if that needs to change, it can.
Well, we weren't sure that the rest of Minor was getting the same emails we were, I guess is why we're wondering what protocol to use. Councilor Butler.
I think part of that goes back to the, July the 7th email regarding the subject was Minnedosa rental agreement. And there was a number of questions in that rental agreement. And it was signed off as Matt Saylor, Jordan Appraisals. And just weren't sure if that was coming from Minor or if that was coming from Matt as a board member. He alluded to, you know, a number of things in that, the hourly rates and et cetera. So that was a bit of a confusion on my part as to if, in my opinion, if this, I have no problem have Matt sending something as long as it's should be stated that this is Minnedosa Minor, not Matt
I
Saylor from
think
Jordan
that's
Appraisals.
just Matt as a volunteer using his Georgian appraisal group. Work email to try and keep life simple.
Okay, but you guys are aware of it, then that's the question I think that I
Like
have.
we'd met in June and we're all went,
Okay.
these are our parameters and
If you're CC'd on his emails.
No.
not all the time. Usually we meet in person and then
Yeah, I
Follows,
guess
yeah.
from our side, going forward, we'd like to see everybody, like CC to everybody, so everybody knows what's going on. Because it seems like we get different stories when we talk to them.
okay, and who is our contact for the town? Is it
It would be
Alicia? Is
that-
it Stacy? Is it? It's Danielle?
I've delegated that to Stacy.
Okay,
I'll
Stacy will
still
be
be
doing the
will
schedule
still-
for minor,
Yeah.
minor
Okay.
only.
Minor only this year, that'll probably change
Okay.
next year, once Alicia gets more familiar with how the ice scheduling works. But
Okay.
yes, this year will be Stacy.
And I was asking about the clarification because we've had other group that had a presentation to us. And then it went back to that group and the board didn't know that the presentation was necessarily happening. So we just want to make sure everybody's
And
on the
that's
same page.
my bad for tonight. It wasn't that I just have been totally
Yeah.
holiday mode and just stepped in at the last minute to get out of the house and keep it company, so. So
Yeah,
that's
'cause-
me being out of the loop, sorry.
no, that's fine, we'll sort it out. Council Landry has a question.
So it's kind of a multi-part question, but in one of the last communications that we got and from. It was my understanding that per our agreement from last year, that any tournament, income that you guys took in from the gate fee. Once you guys had paid all of your refs, the rest of that would come to the town. And we had been told that that hadn't happened yet. As well, the audited books, I believe. So we
Can
had
we-
received those.
Cause your memory's probably better than mine, Counselor, but can we do one at a time with
Yeah,
your?
absolutely.
So first, I think that the tournaments thing has been resolved and that was us kind of dissolving for the year and we made it through another off year. But Carol said that that's been paid.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right?
it just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Received it last-
Oh, okay, so that was the last I heard of it, so, fair enough.
And then the audited books you were asking about?
Yes, I thought we were told that part of the agreement was we would get a copy of the audited statements of some kind.
Whether they're audited or just
Yeah,
financial.
or just financial statements, and we hadn't,
Yeah, I don't know, I didn't see that in the agreement when I looked at it, but I didn't sign the final one, but. We've got our books with our accountant now, we're trying to get things a little bit more logical, cause there's so many different parts and pockets. Yeah, so once we review them at our August 25th meeting, if you guys want them, it's.
So I'll just share with you, we kind of, well, we need that because we give money to lots of groups. And every group we give money to gives us their financials so we can stay on.
That's my
par.
question, cause the email I saw from Danielle was about a grant. And I checked with our board members and we don't know that we applied for a grant, like, did you guys sponsor something for us or?
Well, there's a fair bit of money goes out every year to Skate the Lake, which I understand is Skate the Lake, but it's also minor. And just the reduction in cost to rent the ice and stuff for minor as opposed to other.
Okay, so there isn't an outstanding grant report
No.
as well?
No,
Okay.
no,
Yeah, we present our numbers in a draft at our AGM, we did that in May, yeah. And then we've asked an accountant to review
Yep.
them and have them make sense,
yeah, fair enough.
and then, yeah, you guys.
That's just the rationale behind the
Okay.
rest. Yeah, just so you know. Yeah.
And was that all the?
yeah, that was it, So, thank you.
Any other council have a question?
You have a question for us?
I was just gonna hope you guys had something that I was gonna ask Mike if we had any questions.
Nope, I don't think so. And that one email then, it's set at 80,000, is that what it is? For this year?
Yeah,
I just forwarded it to you again on both your emails
Perfect.
and then to your school one. I don't know if you have access to that.
Oh, I do. Okay, that's how I shortcut my volunteer life is, but it's someday I will retire, so I'm trying to separate. it. Thank you.
Cause it's a great job.
Is it?
I give you glasses.
any other questions?
I guess just to tag on to Grant's question, we had originally talked about maybe a multi-year, is this additional 10,000?
Thanks, Rena.
From 70 to 80, is that something we can anticipate another 10 the next year, are we? And can we know by March the 15th,
Yeah, we can,
2026?
probably
able to
what we'll do in the spring
correctly
is
set our
we'll
things.
have you come in and we'll meet like we did before. And have that discussion and we'll try and figure out because the costs are. You know, they change, but it'll be similar with the cost of living or something raised in there, sure, but. But we can meet again. Like we did last year, early, and
Okay.
then try and have everything in place. Which we thought we had, but I guess if we didn't get the email or.
No, that's not me that needs to get it, I'm
Yeah,
not signing
but
it,
whoever,
so, yeah.
But we did send the email, but anyway, yeah,
Okay.
we can meet earlier and do that, yeah.
And the meeting really helps. So hopefully we'll do that.
Okay, anything else? You guys?
Nope, that's good.
Any other counselors? We just have a resolution we'll do to accept your presentation.
I was just gonna mention that, when the financials also close, canteen out.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's all one, right?
And that's one of
Oh,
the
it's all
steps
in
we're
one.
taking is to work. Cause it used to be separate, cause it literally was two separate organizations, same with Skate the Lake.
Yeah.
So if anyone's counting, I've volunteered 2 more years with minor hockey. So I'm gonna hopefully take over under Carol's tutelage as the treasurer.
Right.
And bring the canteen all in together, cause it's all the same
Yeah,
thing, right? And then the next year would be Skate the Lake's pretty much just one spreadsheet with a
Yeah.
bunch of deposits and a few expenses. And to bring that all in, cause it's all one, to
simplify it.
have it in one place, cause when Tanis Barrett can't explain this to everyone. And when I retire, it's
Yeah.
gonna be,
No, fair enough, sounds good.
hopefully that'll all make sense, and that's why we went back to an accountant this year.
Yep, okay.
Was to get them to take what Carol knows from all of her instincts and.
Yep.
Put it together so they're all happy.
Okay,
Well, thank you.
and if there's no other questions, we'll do this resolution and then you can stay and enjoy the meeting if you like, or you.
You got a soccer practice to get to.
So we have the resolution to accept this presentation, moved by Counselor Dowsett, second by Counselor Lay. That the delegation for Minnedosa Minor Hockey Board members be received. No further questions, all in favor? Opposed, carried, thank you very much,
Thank you.
and we'll be in touch and talk.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Matter which, is it?
Those are all open.
Okay,
Stage left.
thank you.
Next up is Jad Magnuson, Minnedosa Pharmacy.
Thank you. Before I begin, do we know if the RCMP delegates are coming this evening?
No, they were at the last.
They were at the
meeting.
last.
Oh, but they had both said they were coming this evening, so
Oh,
anyways. Good evening, His Worship Ken Cameron, counselors, town staff. My name is Jan Magnuson, and my business partner from Minnedosa Pharmacy here tonight is Ingrid Kerr. Thank you for allowing us to have the opportunity to speak about the community the COP program. We would also like to thank each and every one of you for the hard work that you do for our town. Today, we stand here or sit as concerned citizens as well as business owners. And we're interested in finding out where things stand with the COP program. Inquiring as who the point person for getting it going, getting it up and running would be. At the information meeting, there was a lot of great information provided. And I'm unsure if it's going to be a joint task force between the RCMP, the town, CDC Tourism, or how that is going to play out. We feel that these three groups have administrative staff who would be a critical part in getting this group off the ground. Once the group is established, as the NEPA law group said, it sort of has a life of its own and it starts running pretty smoothly. It's just the startup that is the most difficult step. And maybe no one here knows this information, but was wondering of the volunteers that signed up at that meeting, or the people who said that they were interested in the program. If that list is just with CDC Tourism, or if that's something that your office also has. And just wondering if getting that group of individuals together and going from there. Thank you very much for your time and your attention.
Okay, I can fill you in on what I know as an update, which probably isn't much, and I will let Council Butler speak to it as chair of the CDC Tourism Committee. But I know that the chamber was hoping there would have been more people signed up. So they're still working on signing up and they're trying to find a coordinator. They've talked to a couple people, but as of yet, they haven't had a ton of luck. As far as the town goes, we definitely would support it. But everything that we've read or I've read to do with Citizens on Patrol Manitoba is that it should be a volunteer-led organization. So we're hoping that somebody steps up or they find somebody to be the coordinator. So that's kind of that's all I know that I've been updated on. Do you have something else?
So I was just gonna mention, I remember the first one that we got together, and I think it was back in 96, 97, and around that time frame. And it was a volunteer group that got together. I remember the first meeting over at Ukrainian Hall. And we went from there into scheduling, and we got some plaques for the sides of the cars eventually and stuff like that, magnetic things to stick on so that the RCMP knew who we were also. And with a little bit of donations, we were able to buy some spotlights and batteries and flashlights, and that was about it. And it lasted a good 2 years at least anyways, but once the crime spree seemed to go away, so did the volunteerism. But just to let you know, if I wasn't at the meeting to begin with, but I'd be definitely interested in volunteering for something like that also, for doing a shift and stuff like that, so. Yeah. It did seem as though it was more of a, and it started mostly, a lot of it started with Chamber of Commerce too at that time. So that's.
Council Butler, do you have?
At the meeting, the chamber is the one that has the list.
Okay, so Marlies,
Marlies has the list. I know that Marlies did a posting and looking for someone to take a lead role to organize the group. It was posted on Facebook. I signed up on that list as to volunteer, but I haven't heard of another meeting, and I wasn't at the last CDC meeting. It was to be on the agenda, but I don't know if it ended up, was there discussion? You were.
Wasn't very much discussion, just that there was the information session was had. And that they were looking for somebody to spearhead it.
And that seems to be where we're at right now, is somebody to step forward and call the meeting, get organized and see how many volunteers we can put together. But my understanding is still the chamber that are not taking the lead role, but sort of organizing.
The other thing I'll share, I won't share names, but there's a couple of people I have talked to that are thinking about the coordinator part, but they gotta make sure they can do it with everything else that they. Hopefully, we get a coordinator before too long, but. And the conversations that I've had with Staff Sergeant Andrew Cowan, he's 100% behind this and wants to see it go, so. We do have good support there, and I think that's, to me, that's critical, having them on side, so we do it the right way. So that we don't get anybody into trouble. As you know. So. Any other questions from council?
No answer. No,
I'm a follower more than.
but as Ken said, the sergeant has was to, and as soon as the group gets together, we'll start their part. And that's what he's told us on many occasions. So we'll support it, but we can't. Although you have a few good volunteers already.
We just need to find out one coordinator. But. So if you come up with any names, I'd be more than willing to pass them on to me, I'll talk to them, that's fine, I don't mind doing that, but. I'm talking to as many as I can.
That help Ken at all?
It helps a little bit.
Not enough,
Um,
but
I know both Ingrid and I were at the information with the meeting, and both of us have signed up, you know, to help.
But not me.
Unfortunately, working 6
Yeah.
days a week and wearing.
which is part of the problem, right?
Right, if I didn't work
Yeah.
60 hours a week, then I could,
Yes, well, yeah.
but I'd be willing to help and drum up other volunteers.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to ask people to get involved for their community. I think like Councillor Flea mentioned, that when there is a lot of crime, that's when the outcry comes out and everyone wants to volunteer and everyone is saying, let's, you know, get the pitchforks out, and we need to do it, strategically.
Yeah.
But then once things calm down, everyone's like, yeah, I'm busy, I don't, you know, like the urgency really.
The volunteers seem to disappear
Right.
quickly afterwards, yes.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happened,
That's
the
just,
suspects or the people that were committing those things all of a sudden seemed to be caught and so it lasted another year or so, but everything dwindled off and the ones that were doing 2 and 3 nights a month are doing 1 night a month, and the ones that were doing 1 a month, they're doing 1 every 6 months and
Yeah.
that type of stuff, so. It's got to do with scheduling and stuff like that, so too, if you've got the volunteers and you know what they're gonna do, it's just a matter of scheduling them. For it and just trying to get them with equipped and out on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and you set your own times, you know what you wanna do, you wanna go from 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, that type of stuff, or whatever it is, it's.
Yeah,
seems
but
to
the
be what you're trying to
information
settle
meeting
on.
was excellent. They sort of went over how NEPA does it and how the province, like they outlined all of
Yeah.
that, so that's great. It's just that needing that point person.
Yeah.
So I guess an action item for me is I will follow up with Marlies, see where things are at.
Good.
And see if she's interested in compiling the list of people who signed up. I'll make sure that Councillor Clay and Councillor Butler are on that list, and anyone else who would like to add their name as a volunteer, definitely take that step. And see if we can move this, and if I could ask Mr. Cameron to follow up with the people who have
Yep.
given you a little bit of, and that possibly at September's meeting, we might have
Might
some
have
more
somebody in
information to
place.
go forward.
Or even hopefully somebody in place, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. And we'll do the resolution to accept your report. Again, you're welcome to stay, but So moved by Counselor Butler, second by Counselor Dowsett, that the delegation from Janice Magnuson, Minnedosa Pharmacy be received. No other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you, and
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
okay, so the first is the public hearing, right? Yes. We have a resolution here to recess this meeting to go into the public hearing, so moved by Counselor Butler, second by Counselor Marks, be it resolved that the regular meeting of council be recessed to allow council to hold a public hearing to receive representations for any person who wishes to make them in respect to the following. To reduce the minimum required front yard setback from 20 feet to 13 feet at 21 Carnation Lane, Minnedosa Cottage area, east side of Minnedosa Lake at 556. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Good evening, council members. I'm Giselle Fowler, and I'm here to speak on the request of a variance on my property located at 21 Carnation Lane. I guess in 2019, a variance was placed on my property relating to the east side. I was not aware of this at the time, and I was not formally notified in writing. My current application is for a new building addition to the south side of my existing cabin. This addition would bring the front of the structure in line with the rest of the cabin, improving both the functionality and appearance. While the original 2019 variance pertains to the east side, that current zoning regulation requires that my proposed addition align with the existing cabin. This alignment would ensure a design consistency and create a uniform aesthetic pleasing structure. I understand the importance of respecting the zoning bylaw, and I believe my proposal meets the intent of the bylaw while making practical use of my property. I respectfully ask council to approve my request for the variance so that I can proceed with the addition as planned. Thank you for your time and this consideration. Here.
Council Marks. So,
Sorry,
sorry.
we'll have Adam
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
speak.
We'll have Adam speak first and then we can do it. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
Yes, approved notice application for variation order number 01 MAB 25 was submitted on July 7th, 2025. Proposal is to reduce the required front yard setback from 20 feet to 13 feet to allow for the construction of a cottage addition. Notice of public hearing was distributed in accordance with section 169 of the Planning Act, sent to the applicant and to all surrounding property owners within 100 meters of the affected property, a minimum of 14 days prior to the public hearing. The proposed addition will be located on the south side and maintain pre-existing front yard setback of the existing cottage. Due to the requirements of the Planning Act concerning non-conformities, a variation order must be approved by council before enlargement of the cottage is permitted within the non-conforming setback distances within which the existing building is situated. ECBD has no concern with the variation order as proposed.
Okay, Council Marks.
I have no issues with the variation I proposed. I went and looked at it. It's in line with all the cabins that seem to be in that row. And no, I assume if there was a building permit to begin with. No, there.
Why it's tough.
It's open.
Yeah, that was unto my knowledge. I was not aware of that.
So the building.
Yes,
Okay.
Council Lambert.
You mentioned something about a variation order from 2019 that somebody put on there, so variation
the
order.
town.
No, variation orders have to be applied for by the property owner, the town wouldn't be.
I don't own the property.
Or,
It would be.
Don't, or you
I
did.
don't own the property.
Nobody
it's
owns
a
the
lease.
property out there.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
It would be in something.
But it's actually, yeah, I don't have it attached to my
Okay.
taxes and I've owned it since 2004.
It's its own.
I guess my question was for Adam, was there a stop work order on there?
There is,
Yes,
There is now still?
yes,
because of the variation as well. Like
It said the variation order is needed prior to permit issuance and without a permit. You can't build or building a
Okay,
structure.
there was also some issues with the way it was being built also, or?
There may be some issues with what has been built so far, those will be addressed pending potential approval of variation order.
and the builder is aware of that.
Yeah, I have to contact the builders.
Good. Again, I'm just sort of. So from 20 feet to 13 feet, and you're saying this is for. It's on the east side of the lake, I drove by it today. But. It's the south side of the cabin you wanted ours, so it's not really the frontage of it.
Well, the frontage is
so-
beside that road, or Adam can explain.
They're basically the frontage exists and the addition is at the same frontage distance, but because it's new. Then an application would have to be
Okay.
because of the new mother.
Under the planning act, what it would be considered expansion or enlargement of a non-conforming. So the cabin that was then, like the pre-existing structure that was there, is grandfathered. It's allowed to exist within those setbacks to, because it's existed there for quite a long time. Building anything onto it. If it was built elsewhere that fell within the requirements of our current zoning bylaw, they're going to use it.
Okay.
Because you're now building it in line with the cottage that does not.
It still
conform to the bylaw.
needs the 13
It's
foot
an
variance.
enlargement of a non-conforming use. And I clarified that with community planning Brandon before I. Got it told us, but. Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, yeah, do you have anything else? Okay, we will. Have a conversation about it at some point here and we'll let you know.
Will that be in writing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's that sort of?
yeah, it's on the agenda for later, but we wanna have time.
Like in another month? Like
No,
you-
later today.
Thank you.
And as long as everything goes good, we'll make our decision and they'll be informed in writing for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Then we have a resolution to close the hearing and open, to close the hearing.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. So we have the resolution to do that. So moved by Counselor Landry, second by Counselor Marks. Whereas all representatives in regards to matters listed below have been dealt with. Variation order 01 MAB 2521 Carnation Lane. Giselle Fowler to reduce the minimum required front yard setback from 20 feet to 13 feet. Therefore, be it resolved that the public hearing will be concluded and resume regular session at 6:03. No further questions, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
Have a good evening, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. So our next resolution is for a notice of objection hearing to bylaw. So moved by Counselor Butler, second by Counselor Blake. Whereas the property located at 351 Third Avenue Southwest had received a verbal first notice on July 4th, 2025. That chickens, hens, livestock are not permitted on residential town property in accordance with the animal control bylaw. And whereas a notice of objection had been filed regarding livestock, excuse me, livestock kept on property. Therefore, be it resolved that the regular meeting of council be recessed to hold a notice of objection hearing. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Good evening. I'd like to start off by saying thank you for your time. On July 4th, bylaw called, or came to my house and I talked to Corey, your bylaw officer. And he informed me that I was not allowed to have chickens and I've had them for 5 years. I'm here today to respectfully ask that you guys reconsider the bylaw banning backyard chickens in town. Many communities in Manitoba and across Canada have successfully allowed small numbers of hens, without roosters, of course, through simple guidelines. Winnipeg has a 2-year pilot program that is currently being considered that would allow some residents to raise chickens. Calgary has an urban hen program already underway. The program was launched in 2022 and has great success. Hen keepers need to complete an introductory hen keeping course, a site plan with details of coop and attached run showing where they would be placed on the property. They have to attain a premises identification number, permission letter from property owner if renting, of course, and sign a livestock owner declaration. They have to have a veterinarian established that cares for livestock, and rehoming contact establishment if something happens, somebody has a heart attack, they can't care for the chickens, and a yearly fee of $30. Backyard hens provide fresh, healthy eggs, reducing kitchen waste, and produces natural fertilizer for your garden. They teach kids responsibility and where their food comes from. Concerns about smell, noise, and pests are preventable with a small flock size, proper cleaning schedules, and food storage. Odor is minimal, hens are quiet, quieter than most dogs. I'm committed to following any rules that protect neighbors' comfort and animal welfare. I believe this is an opportunity for our community to become more sustainable, self-reliant, and forward-thinking. There's such a sense of comfort knowing where your food's coming from to feed your family, that it's clear of any poisons or pesticides, and watching them grow from chick to hen, foraging in your backyard, eating bugs and weeds. It's very calming to watch chickens. Thank you again for your time, and I hope you'll reconsider backyard chickens.
Okay, any questions from council?
Was there a complaint that brought, Cory there?
Yes.
Or was?
Not from my neighbors though, as Corey said, he said it was somebody who knew I had chickens that knew I wasn't allowed to have chickens.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, well, we'll discuss it and
Perfect, thank you.
we'll let
so
you
much.
know
Thank you.
for sure. Thank you.
And we all like to. It's not like, right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
But not.
Okay, the next resolution is to close that. Is to close that one and open the next one. So moved by Councillor Landry, second by Councillor Dowsett. That hearing 2025-01 livestock on residential town property be closed, and hearing 2025-02 cleanup order and removal of recreational vehicles from property be opened at 6:08. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
The appeal letter that basically says it all. We have no designated parking spot, to put the RV and,
Snowmobile.
yeah.
It says it's exactly where the bylaw officer said put it. He actually moved it there. I'm supposed to move it again. I mean, there's no one. I'm just gonna wait. I can do it all again. Say. Trying to comply with everything, but.
Is the only issue the location of the, vehicle?
Pardon me?
I said, is the only issue the location of
Yeah, the
the,
location of where we put it, I believe, basically is in the mess in the yard, which we're cleaning up now, but it's, there's, yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. We have no place to put it for one. And,
Was it the RV or the other stuff that's around the yard?
the RV, the boat and the,
No
snow.
designated driveway there at all. You apparently tried to put one in or something, but
Due to water line.
water line, yeah,
Yes, there's a water line right underneath the back right.
yeah, somewhat. So I don't know.
Cause I remember that from years ago, somebody that lived in that house before tried to buy that piece of property, which was the back lane. And was not allowed to be able to buy that because of the water line running through it, because that You understand that part of it there, yeah. so.
No, we're, I'll talk to Wayne, if the boys talk to Wayne, if he's coming to see it, no one will buy the shed. No, it's like, no.
The only option would be selling the.
Not one of those two things since I was 17 years old and kind of.
Counselor
Doesn't mean they need
Dusty.
more than just money, you know, I was over, I'm 53 now. Right, so.
I just have one concern or question. The town went to redoing their garbage, right? And we have now the bins.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering why you're still putting your garbage in the collection up top.
She's trying to clean up everything and she's piling it all there and then I'm trying to get rid of it from there.
But you intend to put it in the garbage container and move it.
Yes, I wasn't aware that we couldn't put it just alongside and they would pick it up as well.
It's
The last.
automated,
I
right?
had to explain
Yeah,
that.
yeah, so I.
So if you could please do that, that would be
Okay.
great,
Okay.
We are.
because there is some animals involved too. Thank you.
Any other questions from council? No. Okay, well, same thing, we'll have a discussion and we'll let you know what comes of it,
Okay, thank you.
okay? Thank you.
guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for cleaning up that garbage.
Now we'll get rid of the rest too.
Thank
This
you.
weekend, I'm tired of it.
Okay, so we have a resolution to close that hearing, so moved by Councilor Landry, second by Councilor Dowsett. That hearing 2025-02 cleanup and removal of recreational vehicles be closed and regular session resume at 6:12. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay. We're back into regular session, so. We have some correspondence there. We have a resolution to accept the correspondence, so moved by Councilor Butler, second by Councilor Blade. That the following correspondence be received, a letter from Carolyn Dwyer, Cottage Area, and the RCMP occurrence stats for July. All in favor? Opposed, carried. So obviously, they're both for information, so you've had a chance to read them and.
I think the cottage one is asking some direct questions, and in that paragraph one, or is it two? They asked whether they're doing upgrades to the beach, et cetera, et cetera. And are we going to reply to them that we're moving ahead, or what's going to be, is there going to be more communication from our office to them?
I would assume that we will communicate with them. I did have a conversation with Carolyn
Right,
about that, and her indication to me was that she was okay with everything, so I was surprised when I seen the letter.
yeah,
But, yeah, I mean. I'm not sure what we can tell her based on her letter,
Outside of what's already,
outside of what we've
already
communicated.
done with the.
To the cottage owners, or-
campground, the upgrades
Yeah.
to the cook shacks, the different things that have been done out there.
Yeah, and
to
the garbage
upgrade
building.
everything, along with the bathrooms and showers are gonna be done this September, I believe is what. That was scheduled for, so, I mean,
We communicated that to the Cottage Owners Association, and she speaks about them, so whether we communicate, should we communicate to her? Should it still be going through the cottage owners, shouldn't it?
we should be just to the cottage owners, we shouldn't have to,
Go to each individual.
each individual, yeah, right, that's just.
And we've answered, to my mind, so Council Mark.
I guess my other question was, when was this letter received? I understand John spoke to her after, because there's no
No.
date on.
I spoke to her before.
Yeah.
She told me, I seen her probably 2 months ago. My mom used to have a cottage right beside her.
Alright.
They're neighbors at the farm, so it's a couple months ago anyway, when I talked to her, and she said, I was just wondering, so I explained what we're doing. And so that makes more sense then, because I don't think she was getting all the information. So whether she's been, but again, those questions, we've given all the answers to the cottage owners, so they should.
Is she a cottage owner or?
Yeah, yeah.
Because she doesn't state that she has a cottage or that, like you said, the date, she gives
There's
her
no
brand
date,
brand
it's-
address.
she does talk about having a cottage on there.
Yeah. There's,
Well, it's just for my cabin lot at 7 Peony Lane is her first sentence, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I
sorry.
presume that she was.
Yeah, she is. So, yeah, to me, we've answered all her questions to the cottage owners, which is where we should be answering them. In my opinion, I don't know what council, if you're all in agreement. Okay, and you've had a chance to read the RCMP occurrence stats.
It's really nice to hear about the rock and repair weekend and 0-0, so. It's good that Mark's off the road, so.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on then, under new business, appointment of auditor, so we have that to do, so. We have a resolution to do that, so moved by Counselor Butler, second by Counselor Marks, whereas section 184(1) of the Municipal Act required council to appoint an auditor no later than August 31st of each year. And whereas Myers, Norris and Penny, MNP, had provided a quote for audit years 24, 25, and 26. Therefore, be it resolved that MNP be appointed as the town's auditors for the 2025 audit. Questions or comments on the auditor? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Vacation resolution. Moved by Counselor.
Variation.
Oh, sorry. I said vacation, didn't I? Sorry.
We wanna go in one.
Sorry.
Yeah, me.
Almost there.
Had me too, after I thought about it, when you guys were looking at me like that. Sorry, variation order. Moved by Counselor Butler, second by Counselor Dowsett. Whereas Giselle Fowler had made an application for a variation order 01 MAB 25 to reduce the minimum required front yard setback from 20 feet to 13 feet. And whereas a public hearing was held this day to hear any representation for or against the application. Therefore, be it resolved that variation order 01 MAB 25 be approved. Questions or comments on the variation?
Do we have a timeline when they're gonna be finished? There been any estimate of that?
She would have 24 months from the
24
issuance of
months.
the permit.
Okay, it just want to make sure.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Sorry, still no vacation resolution. The proposal for Minidos Campground resolution for the electrical, so. Moved by Counselor Landry, second by Counselor Marks. Whereas the campground redevelopment approved by council included an upgrade for electrical services, and whereas that request for proposal had been advertised on Facebook, Tribune, and Merck's with a deadline of August 7th, 2025, and whereas 3 compliant proposals had been received. Therefore, be it resolved that the lowest proposal submitted by Smart Electrical Services Limited for the amount of $323,305.21 inclusive of taxes be approved. Questions or comments? Counselor Blay and then Counselor Lamb. Sorry.
On this one here in the, from Public Works Department. The attached thing, the manager of operations recommends not going ahead with this tender until council has a firm plan on the way forward, taking into account a clear vision on what services the town wants to provide campers for the next 25 years. Example, the 15 amp sites are not suitable for trailers in general and definitely not suitable for the size of trailers currently being booked on these sites today. Therefore, all I'm saying is that we still don't have a plan. If we were to turn around and put this electrical in and fix those few problems that we have there that are in there. And then we're still not solving the problem of the drainage. Because it was, and all I'm speaking of is in regards to the center area of the old campground. And those are the problem ones with, that don't have the drainage and need to be, that needs to be corrected. Also, the electrical needs to be done, but the size of the lots also has to be done, so there needs to be a reconfiguration of that entire thing. And I'm saying we don't need to proceed with this because we're only just to correct the problem eventually down the road, which is in another 2 years. Which is what the real problem is, we're gonna have to dig up all the electrical we just put in there for $323,000, so. I'm saying no to this.
Were there any non-compliant bids that were received? No, there were not. Okay. Councilor Butler.
If I remember correctly, when we went to the phased in approach by our former employee of Parks and Recreation. This amount is significantly higher than what was presented.
Correct.
So I do have that concern and I do agree with Councilor Blaze that. That's a significant amount of money, and if there is a drainage issue, then we're gonna be having to tear up $300,000 worth of electrical that. Maybe we need a better plan. So that we get everything done out there properly as opposed to, I'm not saying all at once, but we're doing a piecemeal that we don't wanna start ahead of what we should be doing, so. I'm not in favor of this, just because of the additional cost and that it is not in the right order.
Okay,
Yeah, we could have a plan, that's.
I couldn't see the RFP as it was, so. You have to be a paid March member, the free membership doesn't.
I'm sorry, Mark.
You can't see the merch document. Unless you're a paid member.
I now put them under documents and on it for.
Oh, was it there?
Requested.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't find it this morning. Oh, look, I should have looked for it.
Council Lyman.
Just wanted to say I'm a little surprised that none of our local contractors bid on this at all. It's kind of surprising.
Good point.
Kind of, but it is a big job.
It is a big job,
They're
but
busy.
It is a big job, but they are some of the ones that put the original stuff in, so they're the ones that know where the bodies lie, so they're thinking.
So, yeah, I guess, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but some of the discussion with Parks and Rec, I believe, was about looking at a bigger plan going forward, so. I guess the question now is, do we just vote on this and defeat it, or do we wanna table it, or? I guess it can be defeated, doesn't matter, cause it's gonna be a while.
I'd like to vote on it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions or comments then? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Defeated.
Maybe with better dead people.
No. How do we update the RFP without? If we think it's substandard, which is what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
Well, if you're saying 15 amps isn't gonna do it, and that's basically what this.
And
Hit on.
that was the report from our public, operations manager.
That had nothing to do with it.
No.
They're,
Well, then it would,
It would
be
be-
part of it.
it would be different scope if we were to re-quote it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's right. If you wanted to just do a few to fix some problems, it would be different, way different.
This discussion is coming up later, isn't it, about?
Yep.
Yes.
So our next item here is a resolution for the municipal emergency coordinator. So. They have a resolution there moved by Councilor Dowsett, second by Councilor Butler. Whereas the municipal emergency coordinator may at times be required to access resources during an emergency. And whereas the municipal emergency coordinator would need the authority to spend funds for an emergency event. Therefore, be it resolved that the municipal emergency coordinator be provided a spending limit of $5,000. Questions or comments on that? Councilor Dowsett.
this was proposed by Napier. And at the time, we all agreed that this should happen. And I haven't changed my mind for that.
So does she have access to money as it is, or no? This is just. Allow her to some.
Yeah, so say if she had to go to Home Hardware and charge some stuff to get us going in an emergency, she'd have that authority to do that
Oh, okay.
without having the group together to make that decision.
Councilor Buck.
This recommendation came up at the exercise that we had, and even with some of the things that were happening on the fly. Because of the mock disaster. In parent, you should have some, she should have some leeway or that person. The spending authority.
All right, any other questions, comments? Councilor Martin.
So basically, the issue we are called carbon limit, is that the thought?
No, she would charge locally. And then if she needed to go outside of there, then she'd contact himself.
Okay.
Or if I'm not around, it'd be Stacy with credit cards.
Okay. Other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Additional seasonal campsites resolution moved by Councillor Landry, second by Councillor Dowsett. Whereas the Recreation Governance Committee had met and discussed additional seasonal sites at the Minnedosa Campground, and whereas it had been recommended that the Horseshoe area, which consists of site numbers 154 through 171, be seasonal sites going forward. Therefore, be it resolved that the recommendation by the Recreation Governance to have the Horseshoe area sites 154 through 171 as seasonal be approved. Questions or comments? Absolutely.
Okay, so, yeah, I just wanna make sure I'm understanding this correctly too, though. Is, so we've gone from 45 seasonal sites to 63 seasonal sites is what we'll be going to, because there's 18 in there.
There is a couple already in there that are seasonal, and then one is held for.
So the 45 went to 47 or 48.
Probably be like 55.
They've got
10 to
the-
12
So it's
sites in there.
10, so it's only going up another 8 then.
Probably 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, from that, if we're doing this, is it? There is a possibility to be able to put another 2 or 3 sites into there. Is that also going to be done? Or is that part of this?
That could be looked at when we discuss the campground as a whole
Okay.
for the renovation.
Okay, and those would be then added to seasonal then also. Okay. Seasonal camping has become quite the thing. It's become an easy way to manage your campground. I know the one that I'm in, or all the ones, there's 5 different campgrounds in the area I'm at, and they're all seasonal campgrounds. They all operate up on a seasonal. There's only one campground that has about, I think about 10 sites that they leave open. But they work it on a seasonal because it's easy for administration to be able to keep control of it.
Okay, any other questions? Councilor.
Me?
Did you have your hand?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I thought it said Councilor Marks. I don't know. No, I'll go to him next.
Okay, there are 3 that are designated as seasonal right now that are probably not up to a standard of a seasonal campsite.
That's a fact.
Those
There's probably more than that.
down the center,
Yes.
they're going to be moved.
Because they're really jammed together. They work great for a pull-in for a night or 2,
Yes, and that's.
but not
what
for
we're
a,
gonna set.
not for a long period. Okay, no, that's fine, thank you.
Councilor Martin.
I'm thinking
So-
those there, those have been offered.
I have Councilor Martin, sorry.
I know that you've expressed that you wanna go to the point of practically all seasonal. I kind of then look at it as a seasonal trailer park and not a campground. Can't be misleading. So currently, looking at that map, is it literally that we're almost at the point where it's just the yellow ones that are, actual day rents?
No, so yes, all yellow is day rents right
Yeah.
now. The center line is day rents right now. There's a bunch of blue and pink in there that are day rents. In that whole center area, which Councillor Blay is discussing later for the redevelopment. There's 4 seasonals in that area right now, and then there's some in the outskirts. So they're scattered throughout the entire county.
Out of the number of, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, out of the number that's on there, sorry, Robert, but.
Yeah.
It does say, 171, I'm not certain if there's actually 171, I think there is. But there is only 63 that would become seasonal, so there's still,
Oh,
out of 170,
oh, okay, so
Yeah.
there's over 100.
there's still, the majority of them are all still. Either rented by the month, week, or day, I don't believe by the weekday.
By seasonal, you mean?
Seasonal is for the season, so in other
I
words,
thought we were only at monthly now, I thought this,
Why don't you get away from monthly? This is the whole process here.
huh?
Yes, please.
That's the whole idea of it.
And I would just like to note, we have had quite a few cancellations and lost revenue due to the state of the lake right now. Where if we had seasonals, that's guaranteed revenue, that we know it's coming in.
Okay, any other questions? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so we'll go on to no further reports. I do not have a report under council reports. We have Council Lander.
As presented.
Okay. Any questions for Council Lander? Okay. Moving on. Council,
As presented, just, COP program, was addressed tonight. The full scale exercise, which was really, really good, but I do have a concern. I stated there, we didn't have a quorum of counselors at the event. And that question came up is if we do have a real emergency, what happens if we don't have a quorum? So, and then we had a protective services review, which was interesting, and I wanna congratulate Kate on her analysis of the mock disaster, and she was pretty hard on herself.
Yeah.
Which, I don't think she necessarily should have been, but it was she said she was disappointed in her performance, and I don't think she should have been, because that was a part of the learning exercise. So kudos to her for stepping up and saying that and learning from that process.
She did fantastic too.
Yeah. And as you know, the town clock is working. And I volunteered to keep winding it. Just see how that works. But there will have to be a discussion. Was not aware of this, but there's a bell up there. And at one time that bell used to ring. We can't get it going yet, but we will get it going if the desire is there. Now, this bell rings once at 1 o'clock, twice at 2 o'clock, 3 times at 3, 24 hours a day.
I think
How loud
no.
is it?
No, it's-
Does anybody
speaking on
remember?
behalf for Danielle, I'm pretty certain she wants that to go ahead.
It is loud, yeah. And, but, so we got to thinking that, maybe we could do it on New Year's Day, we could set it to.
Yeah,
ring,
that would be good.
something along that line, so then you can disengage it. But it's all or none, so if you're gonna set it on, the chimes on, it goes every hour. 24 hours a day.
I would say relative to the train that goes through town, it's quiet.
the only caution I would make is with what's happening with our healthcare recruitment and the fact that we're using the 3rd floor for nurses and doctors and such, that I'm not sure.
They would hear it loud and clear.
I'm not
Are
sure
you-
that we
yeah.
wanna put them through that, so I would tend to agree, if it's working, that's great. And maybe it's on special occasions type of thing, I don't know, but I would caution us have it running constantly if we're gonna try and attract people to stay up there to get them to town for. You know, for what the purpose we're using that 3rd floor now is to try and attract some healthcare professionals and stuff, so. Councilor.
Were there significant repairs that needed to be made to said clock to get it working?
Nope. And it ended up costing us 2 nights of a hotel and mileage from Winnipeg. And some meals. Basically what the issue was, there's the weight moves a pendulum. that pendulum was out of sync.
Oh.
And, but it was also very dirty, so we tore all the gears apart and, cleaned them all up, put it back together and it worked.
So who put it back in? I know you took, oh,
No, this last, Shuttleworth was there, so he's the one that came, he actually lives in New Mexico.
who did?
And, but he's a Clark repair guy, and, his sister has a connection, he has a connection, he lived in Camperville. And so he wanted to get it going, so,
Wow.
and he worked hard on the chimes, and so Rick Billikowski and myself spent the day with him, 2 days with him. Taking it apart and cleaning it all up and putting it back together, and he gave us a lowdown of how to operate it. So, it's working right now. anyways.
How long do you have to, or how often do you have to wind it?
Well, on the board, it says, crank it up to the level of the ceiling, and it lasts 7 days. We're not getting 7 days.
So you're kind of a 5-day guy.
That's right, so it's, and you don't wanna let it. Hit the weight, hit the bottom, because that can damage the clock. But if you ever wanna take a look, it's an amazing piece of equipment, so the 270-pound weight that runs this clock. And there's no gear, they're all gears, there's no springs, nothing, it's all to do with balance.
Yeah, yeah,
It's,
like your grandfather clock.
yeah, exactly.
Councilor Blake.
Given your advanced age, I was just wondering if you have an succession plan.
Well, no, that'll be your problem.
Okay.
It's just a crank.
Any other?
Oh, just one last thing, we're still working on the 3rd floor, so we've, my wife and I have volunteered to take that on. So, the furniture, we've been building furniture on the weekend and got that all in place. Kim has taken all the linen and towels and everything home and washed them, and so that's up there. We've got a couple more things to buy, and she's also doing all the cleaning up there. And we've also volunteered, until this thing gets going, so it's like an Airbnb, so people may be there for a day. Or they could be there for 2 or 3 weeks, but we'll look after the cleaning and getting it ready for people until we get established anyways, see how. it
Thank you,
goes.
Grant.
Yeah,
Thank you, Kim.
if you ever wanna go up there and look, it's actually looking really nice, I think, it's,
It is, yeah.
but.
I haven't seen it since you guys been doing that, but when we were up there before, it's.
And the RM is, putting in their share of funds also on a per capita basis, once the, that amount is done, so they're working with us on that, so. We do know that there is gonna be some student doctors coming in October, November, and we have another doctor from Verdon with 5 kids.
Yes.
That comes here, so, they've been staying at the gateway, so. Next time she comes, she'll be able to stay here upstairs.
And just on that, I think it's worth mentioning that when we had our meeting with the healthcare recruitment committee and the doctors were there. Dr. Eligariani, well, all of them, but those 2 in particular are the ones that Eligariani and Onesko contacted me about the 3rd floor. Because this lady's been staying with 4 kids and a husband in the gateway, it's not working out very well. So they're working really hard at trying to convince her to move here. So they're on side with what we're doing and working very hard with us, so. I think I just wanted to mention that the doctors are working really well with us.
I was also part of a meeting today, with, the Shared Health is doing a toolkit for communities on physician retention and recruitment. And, I explained what we were doing with the 3rd floor and working with the municipalities, and they were very impressed that the town and the town council's taking that initiative to work with the doctors. And I said also, we met with the doctors, they actually came to a meeting and expressed what they need. So they thought that was, quite impressive.
Grant, are we going to any of the trade shows? Has that been talked about?
Yes, that's part and parcel of a brochure, a video, trade shows. We talked about tours, like if someone's coming to here and they need to be driven around to take a look what's happening in Minnedosa and surrounding area.
Yep.
Then we would volunteer to do that.
So are we going to film the doctors who talked about the 5-minute say what in here?
Again,
The doctors did
Yeah.
say they wanted.
Danielle and I are working with Sabine on that to try and put that together, and that's part of what this community engagement is doing. They're looking at recommendations that they can send out, and it should be ready in the fall. And so it's what other communities are also doing. So you get sort of the best practices in order for recruitment, because we're in a. You're in a competition to try to make your community
Yeah.
appealing. So all our communities that have hospitals are doing exactly the same thing.
And I think we have a positive, that meeting, right?
Yes,
It was just
exactly.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know that they all agreed to participate with the filming. So.
Yeah.
I
We just need to get it-
encourage that.
Get it rolling.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
any other questions for Council Butler? Okay, that's all I have here for reports. Now, I guess the next one, sorry, it's not all I have here, we have the CAO report.
As presented.
Any questions for Danielle? I see a few, so we'll start with Councilor Lander.
The speed limit sign at the beach, what kind of quarterly reporting is MPI requesting? And what are we giving them? Like,
I pulled the data from,
also sign actually records?
yes,
Oh.
Simon and I had right time getting it to connect, but we're connected now.
Hooked up you.
When,
Yeah.
are we able to see those statistics when they go to MPI, just out of sheer curiosity?
I wouldn't see them not. The town's data. So.
Would be curious.
Mhm.
You don't-
Okay. Councilor Butler.
And on the 9th Avenue, lift station, the work has started. I know they moved it. Do you have an tentative date of when that will be up and running? Okay. Just the houses are getting closer to
Yes.
filling in and.
If it came to the point where it wasn't exactly working, I have been advised that they could still use a toilet because it holds, and then we could stop with our stuff truck if that comes to it. But it should be done before the houses need to use it.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Blake.
The only one I was wondering about was the Ice Tech ongoing search. Still ongoing,
It was not successful, so we've gone a different avenue.
not yet.
Aren't you curious what the different avenue is?
Pardon me?
You're not curious what the different avenue is?
I'm wondering if, do we have a plan for opening the arena?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
The arena will be open, ice will be in, we are hoping to start early September. The plan's on right now. And the surface is cooling, so we will start putting water on once it's cold enough. We have some programs ready to go for end of August if possible, which I'm not gonna push that, and beginning of September. If we can get the icing.
That's early,
And
very
you're
early for us.
talking with the dry, practice stuff that they're.
Dry land training.
Thank you. So, and has that been much of a sign?
It just launched,
just went out
Yes, but-
yeah. But that's not on the surface, right?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, no, not yet.
Councilor Butler.
Also noticed on there about the compliments of the campground area, which yes, it is.
Jason's doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, and also of around town and the AMREC site has been looking really nice. And I've got lots of people commenting on that, and even people that have been complaining vigorously in the past about it, so. Yeah,
And still complain behind your back.
But around town, it has the look that's
It
what
does.
we've been aiming for a while.
Yeah.
It's- Thank you to the staff,
Yeah.
I mean, they're really, it's coming along very nice.
Any other questions for Danielle? Okay. Then that puts us into in-camera session. So we have a resolution to go in camera. Moved by Councillor Dowsett, second by Councillor Marks. Be resolved that this regular meeting now adjourns to an in-camera meeting to discuss matters in the preliminary stages as per subsection 1523B3 of the Municipal Act, and all matters discussed in camera are confidential until discussed in an open meeting as per section 83(1)D of the Municipal Act at 6:45. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Just give Stacy time to.
If we see somebody's face streak out the window, I'll go open it.
Okay,
But
All right.
rattle them down.
then the first resolution here, notice of objection, it's the animal control bylaw, so. Moved by Counselor Marks, second by Counselor Butler. Whereas a hearing was held this day for notice of objection 2025-01. Therefore, be it resolved that council denies the notice of objection and the enforcement order stand. Further be it resolved that the property owner be granted 14 days to comply with the order. Further be it resolved that should the property owner not comply within the time provided, that the bylaw officer shall be authorized to remove the livestock from the property owner. Any further questions on that resolution? All in favor? Oh, you have a question?
Sorry, I'm just wondering, is 14 days enough for them, or is that the standard?
That's the law.
Just wondering.
Okay, any others? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next one. The cleanup order, so moved by Counselor Dowsett, second by Counselor Landry. Whereas a hearing was held this day for notice of objection 2025-02. Therefore, be it resolved that the notice of objection be denied for cleanup order 2. Further be it resolved that the tenants and owners of the property are granted 14 days to comply with the enforcement order. And further be it resolved that should the cleanup order 2 not fully completed within the 14 days granted, that bylaw enforcement officer shall be authorized to execute a cleanup at the cost of the property owner, which shall include removal of any recreational vehicles that are not located on a designated parking pad on the driveway. Excuse me, questions or comments on that? Councilor Dawson.
Is that the only lynching the thing about the path?
Parking pad.
So. I'm kind of concerned that that leaves us a little,
That leaves a loophole for them.
yeah,
But there is no driveway access. You cannot be.
so there's no way they can sneak back. This is what I'm getting at. I have concerns because.
They can't live there anyway, even if,
Yeah.
even if it was sitting there, they can't.
Good.
Yes, and if the homeowner wanted to add a driveway to their property, they'd have to come
Yeah.
and ask for that.
No, I just wanna make sure that
Yeah, any other questions, comments?
get this cleaned up.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, moving on to other. Tanner's Crossing Park washrooms.
I asked for this to be put on the agenda. It came up at, a couple times now, it came up at a CDC meeting, but it also came up at. Age Friendly,
Yes.
if I remember correctly, so I asked to have it on the agenda. So right now, the washrooms that are in the Tanner's Crossing Park are locked the majority of the time. Which I think we need to look at and figure out a better solution. The second part is, I don't think it's the right for the campground people to have to clean those washrooms. And that's been an ongoing issue for quite a while, and I just think we need to address that. Those washrooms are there. Yes, they are for the public, and yes, there's always ongoing concerns, but let's figure out how we can address those concerns. And get those washrooms opened more than what they are right now, because my understanding, they're only open for special occasions. And even one year, they weren't even open. Because nobody got to them, so, and. So I think we need to have a discussion, figure out a better usage of those and not have campground people having to look after them.
Are you suggesting, which I would probably also, that they have the town take care of them?
I'm not saying that, I think the town would be the. Overall looking after it, but I don't think necessarily town employees, because on the weekend. Somebody has to monitor them, so yeah, it would be an expense.
So it'd be a contract.
Yeah, something, open and close them, they can't be opened all night, obviously. There should be hours of operation, which would be acceptable, and then somebody responsible for checking on them and locking them up. But I think they should be opened, myself, otherwise we must get rid of them.
And would you be in favor of an outside camera?
CDC's already had a discussion and we're looking into putting some cameras in the trade park area.
Good.
Because of the vandalism that's been going on there twice now or 3 times. Spending a lot of time and money in there and just disappointing them if somebody vandalizes it.
Council Blair.
If the campground attendant is the one that's taking care of it presently, wouldn't that, and it's already being paid for them to do that. Why would we change that if they're gonna give you the maximum hours to keep it open to begin with? Just like they're the ones that come and they're the ones that open it, they're the ones that come and they're the ones that close it. I mean, are they not closing it at, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night or opening it at 9 o'clock in the morning?
It's only open for special occasions.
Yeah, they're not open at all.
So that was not part of the contract with the campground, I believe that's in there.
It was.
It is, yes.
And they are the ones that are to be cleaning, they are the ones to be opening and closing it, so if they're not doing it, that's part of what their contract is.
When there's events, when I advise them, it's to be opened.
I'm sorry.
I advise them it needs to be open, like for this coming up weekend. They will be opened.
Okay, I believe though that the contract states for them to do a daily basis, though.
Mm-mm.
I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's
Sorry,
as requested.
Well, then that must have changed before.
We can look that up and we'll talk again about that again. Okay, thank you.
Tend to agree with Council Butler, I think we. need to
Yeah,
look at-
I'm not sorry, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, I'm just trying to find a solution for that.
I know,
Yeah,
and
sorry.
I just want to comment to that.
Okay.
And my comment is, I agree with Council Butler that we need to look at something. Whether it be continue with I personally, as somebody that has run the campground before, think it's ridiculous to pull your campground attendants away from the people they're supposed to be servicing to come and do a bathroom downtown. Maybe not, maybe we can work that out, but I think we need to have the conversation, because a lot of communities have a public washroom that people can use downtown, and we don't have one that's usable all the time.
And Ken, do you think the contractor for here should be the one maybe?
I don't know that, that's why I think we need to have a conversation about that. And there's ways of monitoring it, and not monitoring. It might cost some money, but you can put locks on the door that they can be locked and unlocked from the phone, so you don't necessarily have to go right there
If you
immediately.
have a phone.
Yeah, no, fair enough, but that would be part of a contract if that's the way you go, or the campground people, or whatever we choose to do, but. I
Yeah.
think it needs to be, again, I agree, it needs to be open more regular than the odd event.
I mean, Show Lake, Sandy Lake.
Lots
they
of
all have
things,
it.
so I think it's worthy of having this conversation, and part of it is to look at the contract, I guess, and see what it does say in there, but.
So the contract does, like, it does state that the campground manager is to be taking care of it, cleaning it, supplying it. So that is in the campground manager's tender right now and for this year and next year. So if council wants it open more, my recommendation is stays under the campground manager until that contract is over,
Right, yeah,
because they already bid expecting to do that.
I would agree if they're under a 2 year, but we need a plan, and even if it's spending money on the doors that. You know,
And-
maybe he could lock the door at night instead of running down here and then comes in the morning to clean it and whatever, but. I think we need, and the conversation with the campground attendant would probably be in order as well.
But we have remembered it right. I was pretty sure it was in there.
Okay, anything else on that? We'll. Council Black.
I just, to clarify, I do agree that it's like asinine or inconvenient for them to come down and do that, and I would like to look for a resolution to it. But I do see where we're already having somebody do that right now, or should be having somebody do it on a daily and regular basis, so that washroom is open on a daily and regular basis, which is why this has come before us now.
So is that the will of council then? You want me to contact campground attendant and tell him?
Well, I'm thinking it's part of his contract, he read it.
Okay, but so what time does council want to open, what time does council want?
9 to 9, please.
I'm okay with that. Does that seem fair or?
9 to dusk, maybe,
Well, that'd be
Pardon me, Robert?
9 to dusk,
defined dusk.
huh?
Dusk is not a permanent time, whereas 9 to 9 is permanent.
Sunset,
And that's only during, that's only.
Well,
during
that
the
changes
different
also.
contracts.
I know it does.
Yes, so right now, he's to Lofty Beach bathrooms at 10 PM. So he's already in his vehicle going to the beach,
May as well do that then.
so
Whatever's convenient for him.
I'd say 10 would be convenient.
I don't have a problem, my goal is just to have them open more.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
That's all, I don't care who does it, or
I think you're right.
really, I think it should be revisited, a new contract, but.
But yeah, if it's in the contract, for sure, he's got it for another year, so.
And that could be the same with the cottage bathrooms. It can be somebody totally different than.
Yeah.
grounds.
For that, I think is another conversation. That one.
Okay, we're good with where we went there. So the next one under other is campground.
Oh shit, we haven't even started this one. Let's just prove it.
Counselor Blake.
this is something else I talked to Danielle about again today, and we discussed it at the last, general or, rec governance meeting. This is how it's come about, in regards to trying to do, a campground renovation properly. But what I'm thinking is that we need to call for proposals for the campground. I know we do have, we need to look at some of the drawings already by Bill.
Yeah, credit. But it's, what's the company name? Yes, thank you.
Okay, and he does have some drawings there, some engineered drawings already, so.
And it's good for 10 years. Actually, if you read the.
Oh, really?
7.2 on it,
Okay,
and it, you okay, Ken?
Yeah, go ahead.
I advocate as well, Mark, regarding that I do feel if that was the reason of the extension, that we should just do it and start in the fall and finish it to the following spring and do it at one time.
the other part about this too is as I discussed earlier with Danielle too, is this is only the little center area of the campground, and I think it might affect 25 or 30 sites. So those are the only ones that need to be shut down during the period of what it is. There is some, and most of the heavy equipment work can all be done in September, October.
Till freeze up.
And until freeze up, yeah, so you got September, October, November. They can probably have wires done and stuff laid and rebuild back in again and just finishing up the stuff in the springtime.
And
We
then
might be able to have this campground back and open again, the last little bit of it, so we're only looking at, out of 170 some sites. We're probably still looking at being able to use 140 of the sites or 130 of the sites. And of those 30 or 40 that we were going to be closing, probably 10 or 20 of them aren't being used anyway most of the time because of the size of them. So it's not really a big inconvenience for the campers to begin with, and it is gonna solve a huge problem for the campground, and it is a way to move forward with the campground. It needs it, it's a 1960s campground.
Counselor Butler.
If we're going to look at doing this, I think the campsites are exactly electrical. There was a discussion that you just had indicated about a couple more sites in that spot, which would have to have water and hook up. The other part is that it should be even in the new section, and they're 30 amp service, probably should be upgraded to a 50 amp service. Then there's also the basketball court that needs some love and some fencing, because we have a beautiful site out there. You have a lot of amenities, and I don't want us to shortchange us. And I think we need to look at the whole site right from beginning to end, and which is part of the campsite. It could be a phased in approach. Doesn't have to do everything all at once. My understanding is there's about 800,000 in the bank right now.
Approximately.
And then whatever money that we need to go up and above that, then we should borrow that money and let's get her done. Cause we've been talking about this since,
2019.
yes, and we're at the same stage we were in 2019. And we don't have the money to do it all the way that it should be done, and that was the reason we went back to the phased in approach, and that doesn't seem that it's working out the way that it should be. So I would like us to, and I don't think it's not a burden on the taxpayers of the town, because this is self-sufficient, it is bringing in money as long as it can afford the loan. Then let's do what we need to do there and make this campground way better, because Mark's right, it was built by pushing the cat through and dumping some dirt on the spot in the seventies or whatever.
60s.
No, it wasn't there in the sixties, cause I was there in the sixties.
Swamp.
Yeah, it was, we had our camper, that's the Mallards were there.
That's what ski club operated.
Yeah. But I think we need to do it upright if we're gonna do it, and whatever that takes, if it needs to borrow money, then let's do it. And-
Is the venture.
Yeah.
And on that, I still think that the plan that we have is a very good plan. And we should follow that.
And I don't have a problem with that, but I think you should incorporate a basketball court,
Well, that-
doing it too.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
fencing and.
Part of another.
That place is.
Oh, yes. Council Lander.
I feel like this would be a good discussion to have as an agenda item for a committee of the whole. Where we can come up with a concrete plan to give administration some kind of direction that we would like to go in, because in the last couple of years, I've heard, well, let's do this, no, let's do this, no, let's do this, and I feel like even in the last 6 months that we've changed our mind a number of times. And I'm getting confused as to which proposal we wanna go with and what we wanna do. So I think this should be a priority item at the next committee of the whole, where we can come up with a concrete design or concrete path forward that we all agree on, or the majority of us agree on. In order to move forward, yeah.
Council
Yeah,
Mark.
I think the notion of September, October is a little, especially if there's an adventure involved. Because by the time you get a borrowing bylaw through, I think your timeframe doesn't work.
I'm sorry?
If we were to borrow money,
Yeah.
we won't be able to do it by then.
If we were to be able to borrow money by September of twenty twenty-six.
For September. or
He's talking
October.
2026. Yeah.
Oh,
Not this year.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
And,
From September.
to answer your question, Mark. To my way of thinking, it's always been Bill's plan.
Yeah.
And that one, and that, so I don't see how we're changing that, but as far as I'm concerned, it's been the same in 2019 to now.
But I hadn't seen the 2019 plans until it was sent out from the last meeting,
Okay.
because I wasn't on council then. So
I-
all of you existing council members would have seen it, but I know I didn't, so that's why that whole plan is new to me, which is why I was kind of going like, where did this come from? So for my own knowledge, it would be really nice if we could sit down, articulate what we wanna do, which plan we wanna follow. And set a concrete path forward for myself to know what we're doing, and most importantly for administration to know which way, because. If I'm feeling confused, I'm sure that the feeling is most likely mutual, that we're changing our minds based, and we need concrete directions.
Yeah, and I don't see that we changed our minds, but I understand what you're saying. And I appreciate that, and I think that the sooner than later.
Yeah.
We should already, because I do believe, although the argument was for beforehand, you guys don't realize this is not gonna increase our revenue. And that's what we were told, that was a little bit of instant we had.
Yeah.
But it's not about, it's about, you're gonna save money instead of waiting another 10 years. Right?
Did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether we've actually moved forward on some of the campground developments and that they're different from the 2019 one. Oh, I haven't looked at it, so.
I think there'd be some stuff.
I had
added
some-
on, and I can- And it's that phased in, the campground plan didn't talk about the basketball courts, it
No.
did talk about additional sites, with water and sewer. I think it had a 30 amp service, not a 50 amp service, so there would be some upgrades to that component.
The horseshoe was part of it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so.
But there's now more about tonight that came up, so, yeah, and that's why I said there has to be, we have to look at the whole area. But let's, I agree with Mark, let's get the
Yeah.
plan and stick to it and get her done.
Okay.
write it down.
And I want a cricket pitch.
So we'll come up with a date for this committee of the whole meeting and.
You know, the
Actually, so,
Yes, there was a request before.
There's teams
to
from
hash some stuff out.
Stockton and teams from Grand
Yeah,
Rapids up
just
here.
the
to play.
campground, but we're thinking not
That's
till
where,
see you guys,
at the old baseball.
I'm sorry.
October, is that correct? Is members of council that are away?
Yeah, I do have a few.
that works for me, I mean.
Set in October.
Try and set this sometime in
Because
October.
we wanted to discuss, I believe it was the minor hockey, the arena, things like that also was one of the ones that we wanted to.
And that'll help administration plan, start planning for 26 budget too.
Is October soon enough?
I think so.
Okay, good, okay.
Okay, we're all good with that?
Just as long as we start moving ahead. I want to move ahead on this.
Anything else under other?
Just have one question. So I know last year with the grants organization, we put the new policy in where we needed a report for what they were going to do. Have those reports been coming in from the current recipients?
No, because they would be due next year, because they would have this year to spend the money.
So they would have until the next grant intake,
February of next year.
so they have until February? Okay.
Yeah, so you're working a year behind, but we need to fit that year behind yet.
Thank you.
I thought they were supposed to come earlier.
Submission dates November and we approve February, so basically they'd have to be in by the time.
Before you approve it.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Then guess what? Moved by Counselor Dowsett. Second by Counselor Blake. Excuse me, be it resolved that the meeting be adjourned at 7:24 P.M. And to meet again on August 26th, 2025.
General governance.
We can talk about that after we.
Yeah, let's, all in favor? Opposed, carried.